All right, welcome back to Perdido Key Gaming. Today we got another game I picked up from online. Today we've got a game called Deep State, The New World Order. Let's see, we got it's by Konstantin Seleznev with art by Alexander Kromov. I don't know if they meant a ch. But Crowd League Games 2020, Dennis Davidoff 2020, Crowd Games LLC in Tallahassee, Florida, just down the street. But yeah, you got, looks like it is a card game with tokens and everything like that. You dispatch agents to infiltrate political, financial, scientific organizations, make shady treaties, and carry out covert operations and stuff like that. Sounds like a big project. Let's see here. We've got the boxes, pretty standard size and everything like that. You got cool cartoon art on the front. Probably need to see if this guy's getting the actual comics. It might be kind of interesting. Pretty stout box. Nothing to complain about there. We've got a fairly medium-sized 24-page booklet. We got a reference guide, which is also another 24 pages. So this might be a little more complex than I think. You got some punch-out tokens from fairly thick cardstock, head of classified. I'm sure all these arrows and stuff mean something. Triads, Yakuza, the Cosa Nostra, a baggie full of what appear to be their plastic tokens in a number of colors. Fairly lightweight, so if you're like me and have cats, you may be in trouble. Let's see, you got some more baggies. You've got some small cards, and you've got some larger cards with the Illuminati. You may remember we did the Illuminati thing the other day. Military intervention, a bigger type of card, and a pad of tracking material, I guess. So what I would recommend, of course, is to go ahead and, maybe make some photocopies in color of these so that you don't run out. And then we've got a, I don't know if you're supposed to take this part. I don't want to if you're not supposed to. Kind of small game board and the typical hold-a-box. So let's see. Objective card groups: mass control, finance, science, key connections, supreme power. Sure sounds familiar. Not sure where I heard that before. Let's take a look at the game rules first, I guess. Let's see. Got your components, which are objectives, which are the bigger cards. You got your secondary objectives, which apparently are the smaller cards. You got your other cards that are head of classified identity, head of classified action deck, project order, covert operations. You got some world domination projects, treaties, treaty tokens, a supervisor, which is a wooden token. I don't think those are wooden. 50 wooden meeples. I don't know if they must be made of balsa wood. They don't feel like wood. If they, I'm telling you, these things are extremely light. Extremely light. They're not very hefty. Anyway, 50 pages of rules, scoring pad, ghost agents, reference cards. It is the 20th century, the century of skyrocketing technological development, new economic and political relations. Reality and fiction, it's based on an alternative history of our world. It could have happened or maybe even have happened. The majority of us would be unaware of it. Do your own analysis, folks. Becoming the world government, player with the highest number of influence points at the end of the game wins. They come from your cards and from participation in world domination projects at stages 4 and 5. So you got a lot of setup, it looks like. You got to shuffle the treaty deck. You got to I'm not sure. Let me see. Does it say how many players? I missed that part. 14 and up, 40 to 75 minutes, 1 to 5 players. Warning, not suitable for people that are 0 to 3 years old. 5-player game, use all the objective cards and so on and so forth. Create the infiltration zone, which they label it all out, how the play zone is laid out, which is nice. And then you have little reference numbers there. If you have revealed a World War card, place it aside and put it in the next card. Shuffle any World War cards back in the objective deck. That way the World War cards won't appear in the game before the... Well, that's nice. You don't want to, start out in the middle of a war. Then you got your world domination projects. You put them all four of them. Yeah, I speak English. Put all 4 world domination projects on the table. Put the stack of 6 covert operations near the world domination projects. Each player chooses the color and takes all 10 agent meeples of that color, the remaining cards, tokens, and everything, and you put them somewhere that's called the general supply. In the beginning of the game, you make a funny story, and that person ends up being the supervisor. Excuse me. And then the struggle for world domination begins. You can't play with one person, obviously, because it's 1 to 5 players. And you got your number of action phases, takeover phases, and treaty phases, and explains what's supposed to go on. Within the committee, there's a special department responsible for the hiring and training of agents. Episode 1, struggle for the consulates. They give a play example, I'm guessing. Then you got a breakdown of some of the cards, the objective cards, covert operation cards, explains the ghost agents, elimination of obstacles, breakdown of a world domination project, heading towards a world revolution, another example of going ahead and playing. Julia and Serge against each other here. Takeover phase explains that phase. Breakdown of a treaty card. Episode 3, ready for new assignments. You're never done with the last assignment. 20th century is a century of 2 world wars, or if you're like me, there were 3. Example, World War. Examples, influence generated by objective cards. Men of Action expansion. So you can, I'm guessing that there's some extra cards. You can play Men of Action. I am guessing maybe these, I'm not sure if these guys are Russians or, but they're out of Tallahassee. How bad can it be? Then the reference guide explains a couple of more things here. We got emblems, eject cards. Apparently they're color coded according to their groups: mass control, science, key connections, finance, supreme power, and inner circle. The Comintern. the Unified Nations, spyware, deep state. Those are the projects, right? Cheka, Kabbalists, Federal Reserve, Club of Rome. So in other words, it kind of breaks down all these different treaties for you, you know, because apparently that's the important part. Solo mode. More pages on the solo mode, which is good, instead of just having one blurb about playing solo. There's an example here. HOC takes on the labor unions. Example, prominent researches. You can adjust it for difficulty or play a game of influence. Starting manager, experience, best of the best, outstanding Machiavelli of the 20th century. And that's kind of it. I mean, it seems pretty in-depth. I imagine this would be a difficult game to learn, much like, well, maybe a little bit harder than Twilight Struggle or something like that, which is, you know, perfectly fine. I'm going to have to actually see if there's an app for this. That might be pretty cool to do. Find that for, you know, Android or iOS. But in general, just, you know, I don't really have any beefs yet. The only real kind of beef is these things are way light, so it might cause some issues with house pets. You should photocopy those. But otherwise, I think that's it sounds very interesting. I'm you know, I don't know who I play with. It might be hard to explain to somebody else, but you'd have to play, again, like any game, it probably takes, you know, 2 to 3 times before you really get the handle of setting it up and playing it and getting it all smoothed out and understanding the rules. And I will be delving into the rules, you know, and, you know, reading up on those to see if I can maybe play a solo game. That'd be nice. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Let me know what you like. Hit the like button, I meant. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. And let me know if you played it before. And we'll see you tomorrow for some more Perdido Key Gaming.